I've always considered myself a rational person, but the night I babysat for this family changed my perspective forever. The evening began like any other babysitting gig. The family showed me around their spacious home, pointing out her two children's favorite toys and the snacks in the pantry. Samuel, aged 4, was a bubbly, energetic kid, while Lily, just 8 months old, was the picture of angelic innocence. The mother handed me a list of emergency numbers and said, "One more thing, if you need to go upstairs for any reason, never turn off the hallway light." She said it casually, but her eyes bore into mine with an intensity that made the warning clear. The evening progressed normally. I played with Samuel, fed Lily, and watched some cartoons. But as the night deepened, a nagging curiosity grew in me. Why did the mother insist on the hallway light remaining on? When Samuel and Lily were both asleep, my mind raced with wild possibilities. Was it a prank, a family quirk, or was there something more sinister? A creaking noise pulled me from my thoughts. It sounded like footsteps, slowly ascending the staircase. My heart raced. No one was supposed to be home other than the children and me. I approached the base of the stairs, straining to hear any further sounds. The hallway light upstairs cast a soft, eerie glow. Another creak. This time it was unmistakably closer. Panic surged as I realized I'd left Lily's baby monitor upstairs. Feeling the weight of responsibility, I cautiously started up the steps, keeping the hallway light in view. I tried to tell myself it was the house settling or my overactive imagination, but something deep within me felt it was more. As I neared the top, I heard a soft lullaby being hummed. The sound was both soothing and bone-chillingly eerie. I stepped onto the landing and looked down the corridor. The door to Lily's room was ajar, and the lullaby grew louder. Gathering all my courage, I approached and gently pushed the door open. There, in the soft glow of the nightlight, stood a figure swaying side to side, humming to Lily, who was in her crib. I was paralyzed with fear. It wasn't the mother. This woman, with long flowing gray hair and dressed in a tattered white nightgown, looked as though she'd been pulled from a time long past. The woman suddenly stopped humming, and the room became oppressively silent. She turned to face me. Her eyes were entirely black, and I felt as though I was being drawn into an abyss. "I used to live here," she whispered. Every hair on my body stood on end. Gathering all my courage, I stammered, You need to leave, now." She just smiled. "Oh dear, you shouldn't have turned off the hallway light." But I hadn't. I bolted from the room, snatching the baby monitor from the hallway table. As I raced downstairs, the hallway light flickered and went out. Blind panic set in, and I barreled into the living room, grabbing Samuel and bolting towards the front door. As I fumbled to unlock it, the temperature in the room dropped sharply. From the shadows, I heard the same soft lullaby being hummed. We were not alone. Terror coursing through my veins, I finally managed to unlock the door and raced out, Samuel clutched tightly to my chest. I didn't stop running until we reached the safety of a neighbor's house. The police arrived quickly but found no one in the house. They said it was likely a homeless woman who had found her way in. But how could they explain the baby monitor, which now only played the same eerie lullaby on loop? The mother never explained her warning about the hallway light, and I never dared ask. I stopped babysitting after that, haunted by the chilling memories of that night. The family moved out shortly after. Their house remains on the market to this day, and I often wonder if anyone else has encountered the chilling presence of the woman who once claimed to live there. And every time I pass a hallway light, I make sure it's on. I've always taken pride in being adaptable. I've babysat in countless homes and adapted to different family quirks and preferences. But one evening with this one family left me struggling to adapt to reality. It was a normal suburban home with neatly trimmed hedges and wind chimes. The mother, a kind woman with a soft voice, introduced me to her twin daughters, Ava and Alina. Both were 7, with raven black hair and a penchant for matching dresses. But Ava was the outgoing one, always leading the conversations, while Alina mostly stayed silent, watching intently with her big blue eyes. As the mother was leaving, she stopped by the grandfather clock in the hallway. "You might notice this old thing strikes 8:30 p.m. twice. Just a glitch, never got around to fixing it," she chuckled. "Oh, and always answer Alina when she talks. She doesn't speak much." I smiled, figuring every family had its idiosyncrasies. The evening went as expected. We played board games, and Ava enthusiastically told me school stories. Alina remained quiet, often just whispering to Ava, who'd then relay her messages. As 8:30 p.m. approached, the clock struck, signaling bedtime. The twins headed upstairs, with Ava chattering away and Alina still silent. I settled on the couch, picking a book to read. Then the clock struck 8:30 p.m. again. Startled, I looked up to see Alina standing at the foot of the stairs. "Time for bed," she whispered, her voice echoing eerily around the room. I blinked, confused. "I thought you were upstairs, sweetheart?" She just tilted her head, watching me with those deep blue eyes before turning and heading upstairs. Chalking it up to my distracted mind, I returned to reading. But I couldn't shake off the eerie feeling, like a weight pressing down on the room. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of my thoughts. A text from an unknown number lit up the screen. "Did you answer her when she spoke?" Chills ran down my spine. How did they know about Alina? Was I being watched? I immediately checked all the locks and started to look for any signs of intrusion. Nothing seemed amiss. Pushing down my rising panic, I decided to check on the twins. The soft glow from the hallway light guided me up the dark stairs. As I reached their room, I noticed both girls peacefully asleep, Alina clutching a small teddy bear. Returning downstairs, I tried to calm my racing heart. It was probably just a prank text from a friend. I switched on the TV, hoping to distract myself with a comedy. But as the minutes ticked by, the weight in the room intensified. At exactly 9:30 p.m., the TV suddenly switched to static, and the soft voice of Alina echoed, "Time for bed." I spun around, expecting to see her, but there was no one. My phone buzzed again. "You didn't answer her." Terror gripped me. I raced upstairs, ready to gather the twins and leave this house of nightmares. But as I entered their room, I found only Ava, sitting up in bed, tears streaming down her face. "Where's Alina?" I gasped. Ava just sobbed, pointing to a family portrait on the nightstand. It showed the family, with a very familiar face standing slightly apart, Alina, her face framed with the words, "In loving memory." I staggered back, my mind struggling to process the truth. The real Alina had been dead all along. Without a second thought, I took Ava's hand, and we bolted downstairs. But every photo frame in the house now bore Alina's face, her haunting blue eyes following us. The air grew cold, and every echo of the clock seemed to whisper, "Time for bed." I fumbled with the locks, the chilling atmosphere tightening around us, threatening to pull us into its depths. As we finally burst out of the front door, the night air felt warmer, a stark contrast to the bone-chilling cold inside. I took Ava straight to a neighbor's house, trying to explain through my panic. They already seemed to know about the quirks of the family house, exchanging knowing glances. The family returned shortly after, rushing to embrace Ava. The mother, tears in her eyes, softly explained that they had lost Alina a year ago. They had tried to cope, with Ava even developing a way of speaking for her deceased twin. "We thought it would help her cope," she whispered, her voice breaking. "But maybe we were wrong." I left that house with more questions than answers. Who had texted me? And what about the voice I'd heard, or the photographs that changed? Some things, perhaps, are better left unanswered. I gave up babysitting soon after that night. The memory of Alina's haunting gaze lingered, a chilling reminder of the evening where time struck 8:30 p.m. twice, and I learned the terror of unanswered echoes. Being a college student and struggling to make ends meet meant I'd taken various odd jobs. One of the more frequent ones was babysitting. One evening, I got a call from a local family who had heard about me through mutual friends. They wanted me to watch their 5-year-old son Max while they attended a dinner party. The family lived in a modern, smart home with voice-activated lights, thermostats, and even locks. It was a haven of modern technology. Their living room was dominated by a huge flat-screen smart TV, which was going to be my primary source of entertainment once Max was asleep. After tucking Max in and ensuring all was quiet, I headed downstairs to catch up on some Netflix. That's when things took a peculiar turn. I had just started a movie when a message popped up on the TV screen. "Hello, how's Max?" The message seemed like it might have come from the family, maybe checking in. But why use the TV to communicate? They could have easily texted or called. "Max is asleep. All's good," I typed back, using the on-screen keyboard. There was a pause. Then another message flashed. "Good. He's safe. For now." The casual tone had shifted to something menacing. Panic surged within me. Thinking it might be the family pulling a prank, I called the mother. She answered on the first ring. "Hey, everything okay?" she asked. "Did you just send a message on the TV?" "What? No, we'd just text you if we needed anything. Why?" I relayed the messages to her, trying to keep my voice steady. Her tone immediately changed to one of concern. "Lock all the doors. We're coming home right now." With trepidation, I approached the main door to double-check the lock. That's when another message flashed on the screen. "Why did you call them? It was just a game." Fear gripped me, and I hurriedly locked everything and closed all curtains. The house transformed from a technological wonder to a haunting maze. Every beep, every flicker of lights seemed ominous. As minutes felt like hours, I heard a soft whisper from behind. "Why are you scared?" Whirling around, I saw Max, clutching his teddy bear, looking confused. I sighed in relief and hugged him tight, assuring him everything was okay. Soon, the family's car pulled into the driveway. As they hurried in, visibly shaken, the father went around the house ensuring everything was secure, while the mother comforted Max. After a thorough search and finding no one, we decided to check the smart home system logs. The messages were sent from an unknown device, possibly hacked into their home system. The family thanked me profusely and drove me home, ensuring I felt safe. They later informed me that they'd gotten an IT expert to fortify their home system, finding traces of malware and unauthorized access points. What chilled me the most was discovering that the hacker was a former disgruntled employee of the father who'd intended to scare the family as revenge for being fired. The experience served as a chilling reminder that the danger in our modern world might not always be tangible and lurking in the shadows. Sometimes it's silently infiltrating through the devices we trust, turning them into instruments of terror. The very conveniences of our daily lives can become conduits for unseen threats.